Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdi, ji ayanu goeiemorgen, ishpata.
Vorheragele, ni hao, chura shumme, washmale, ohaya gizaimis, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chitore, ahlan wasalan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, suavia, balli kare and thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV World on a very rainy Thursday morning over here in Islamabad. The name happens to be Shahzad Hassan Khan, and with me I have the very amazing, the one who loves rainy weather. She happens to be Miss Shiza Hashmi. Hello Shiza, how are you doing today?
I am doing absolutely great and even better, of course. Well, first of all, I did wake up before my alarm rang.
Wow.
So I enjoyed the best part of the rain as well. It was really early morning as well. And then I felt like, you know what, I'm going to replicate the beautiful rainy sky, and I wore a dark blue dress.
Wow, that's wonderful.
It's been a brilliant morning for me. What about you?
Well, I think the rain kind of did add to my mood as well, you know, and I kind of listened to, while I was on my way towards work, you know, a few romantic songs, and you know, when you're before time at work as well, you know, you get that ample time to settle down and to kind of do your homework. I had that too as well. I'm glad that, you know, that we've actually started to do our show at 10 a.m. in the morning. So for everybody who's out there, please make sure that if there are other regular viewers of our show, that you kind of communicate with them that now the show time is at 10 a.m. in the morning. But other than that, Shiza, there's one more thing which I wanted to ask you, and which I think might be the reason behind your smile today, because today you woke up to a lovely bouquet. Did you?
Well, yes, of course. It actually.
Who sent you that bouquet early in the morning?
It actually arrived last night as well, but I feel like I was so sleepy I didn't pay a lot of attention to it as well. It's a long lost. I don't know
friend?
what's the right term. Yes, a friend, of course, and I have been out of contact with her for so long. And you know what? I feel like I'm extremely guilty in one thing. With my friends, they have to keep up with me. And I think you are a testament to that as well, because the amount of times our colleagues and I have made plans, it never happens. I'm really bad at friendship. Sorry, guys. But yes, it was really beautiful to wake up to.
Wow. And it's wonderful, you know, because just looking at your Instagram story, I think I felt wonderful as well. I was like, yeah, you know, you're so lucky to have such amazing friends who are going to send you bouquets as well, because my friends are always complaining, and just because the busy schedule, you're not able to give them that time. But this time around, I think everybody's now talking about work-life balance, and ladies and gentlemen, it's very important. So please make sure that you maintain that work-life balance.
Absolutely. But you know, Shahzad, it's so easier said than done as well, you know, maintaining the right balance. Because in your case, even I know you just got to take a break from PSL. And now again, you'll be doing the Australia series, inshallah as well, for PTV Sports. So I guess it gets hectic, but alhamdulillah for everything.
Alhamdulillah. You know, I just can't thank Allah enough, ladies and gentlemen, and please make sure that whenever you're given that opportunity, whenever you're bestowed upon by all of those blessings by Allah Almighty, please make sure that you seize it. Just like a lion, you know, when the lion's hunting, lion does not think twice. It always makes sure whenever there's opportunity, he's going to go for it. So please make sure that you go for it and thank Allah Almighty for that. Which is why, since you mentioned about the Bernard Qadir Trophy, I think what we're going to do is, because from tomorrow onwards, ladies and gentlemen, the historic test series are going to take place over here in the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. Please make sure that you buy the tickets, even though that the tickets are sold out. We have the tour details with us. So the first test is going to be from 4th March till the 8th of March in Rawalpindi. Second is going to take place on the 12th of March till 16th in Karachi. Third test from 21st till 25th of March in Lahore. And all the 3 one-day internationals are going to take place in Rawalpindi. And the only T20 on the 5th of April will be taking place in Rawalpindi as well. I think this is the moment, ladies and gentlemen, after almost 2.5 decades that the Australian team has set foot on the Pakistani soil. And we just cannot keep calm. You know, Babar Azam, congratulations to you, because you get to lead the team in the Bernard Qadir Trophy. And, you know, at the same time, Pat Cummins, you know, thank you very much for being over here. And we hope and pray that you guys are enjoying it over here.
Absolutely. And for all the people, especially the cricket fans in Islamabad and Rawalpindi, isn't this a brilliant opportunity for us? Because it's always either happening in Lahore or Karachi. So, yeah, I'm really so excited about it.
And the tickets are already sold out.
Well, you know what? I'm going to book mine for the later matches
One
as
day
well.
international. I think even though I want to go for all the test matches out there, but I don't know whether I'll be able to because we will be doing the transmission.
Right.
But other than that, one day internationals are going to be fun, and to witness Australian players over here in Pakistan and Pakistani players at the same time, which
fun.
are at par with the Australian team, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So please make sure that you do that.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of good news is today.
That's true.
Yep.
We love sharing good news with you, especially early in the morning. And we hope with that your day is going to be good as well.
True.
You know, it sort of sets a tone for us and likewise for you too. So to begin with, we have been talking about so many programs that the incumbent government of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf came up with. And all of them are sort of in one way or another relief packages, Shahzad. And I say that because this government takes care of the common man and the common issues on a daily basis. So particularly under the program of Kamyab Pakistan, now we have some, a sort of a loan, is it?
Exactly.
For billions of rupees. We definitely have details on that. Let's see if we can share them on the screen as well. So particularly this was announced yesterday when the Premier Imran Khan Sahab mentioned that loans worth of 1,000 billion rupees will be provided to 4.5 million deserving households under Kamyab Pakistan program by the next year to lift them out of poverty and enable them to earn their livelihoods.
And you know what? He was addressing a ceremony in connection with the launch of disbursement of interest-free loans under Kamyab Pakistan program in Islamabad, and he said that loans to the tune of 2.5 billion rupees have already been disbursed under the program.
He said that this program aimed at taking the country towards a welfare state and will be further expanded. How amazing is that? And also, he said this envisages interest-free loans of 500,000 rupees for businesses, 350,000 rupees for the farmers, and 2 million rupees for the construction of houses.
Wow.
Isn't this so amazing? I mean, I'm really, really hopeful for the translation of these projects into reality as well.
Exactly. And no matter what happens, Shiza, we certainly need to talk about the Qawmi Sehat card as well, because ladies and gentlemen, I have seen myself, a lot of people benefiting from that, and we hope and pray that it continues for the rest of our lives as well, because it's a great comfort and relief, even for, imagine those people who couldn't afford the treatment for their parents or for their children or for themselves. And you know, once you know that you're covered, your health is covered, I think that you do get that trampoline jump that, okay, you know, I can do much more in my life. Alhamdulillah. So all thanks to the PTI government and Mr. Imran Khan, our Prime Minister, I think everybody feels relieved about it. But very quickly, Shiza.
Yeah.
So do you know that, you know, whenever we used to watch those Hollywood films where, for example, Home Alone, and you know, if there were burglars coming in or if there were other people who were intercepting into your place as well, or probably didn't have the right intentions, we would always know that the kid was going to call 911.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So imagine that over here in Pakistan, we're going to have one emergency stop helpline, and all you have to do is just dial 911.
Oh, brilliant. That is absolutely amazing. So to give out the details of that, ladies and gentlemen, Prime Minister Imran Khan said that securing life and property of people is the top priority of the government.
And chairing a review meeting in Islamabad on Pakistan Emergency Helpline 911, he said launch of a universal emergency helpline in the country would be a one-stop emergency relief point for people in crisis. Wow.
And it is definitely to make sure or to make necessary measures to ensure hiccup-free operations of the helpline through trial run and soft launch before its actual launch in the month of Ramadan, inshallah.
Wonderful.
Wow.
And earlier, you know, Shaza, even Prime Minister was briefed that all the 36 individual emergency numbers for provision of emergency services like fire brigade, police, health assistance, disaster recovery, and motorway police would be integrated into Pakistan Emergency Helpline 911.
Wow.
A person in need will have to dial 911, and call center will forward his call to relevant government agencies. Wow.
Wow, absolutely amazing. I think this is the sort of trust factor that is now being not developed but rather strengthened among the common public, of course, and the government now.
Exactly.
This particular thing is called social contract, when the difference or the gap between the government and the common man is called social contract. And I see it reducing in this era, in my lifetime. I think it's really beautiful, to be honest.
It is beautiful, and it gives me a lot of relaxation, to be very honest. And ladies and gentlemen, you know, I've mentioned this just yesterday as well, and I'm going to mention it today. So just yesterday, I mentioned that, you know, while we kind of vouch for or we kind of represent the Qawmi Sehat card as well, you know, I have seen people, I have seen cases who have gotten that part of relief where they didn't actually had to pay from their pocket, alhamdulillah, and now they're happy and they're praying for Prime Minister Imran Khan. That's wonderful. But on the other hand, what I would want to say today is that even while we're working for Pakistan Television, we get to know about all of these information. So there are a lot of people who might have had a little bit of detachment from the news or the current affairs as well. But every Pakistani needs to know all of these things.
Definitely.
And, you know, we make sure that we take advantage of this opportunity we call World This Morning and share all these wonderful news with you as well.
And we'll continue to do so. But Shahzad, right, I'm thinking of one particular thing right now that I came across yesterday, and it was really disturbing, to be honest. So you know how there are open days at schools, different recreational activities. I mean, to be honest, it's really fun and healthy for the students. So in a very renowned private school over here in Islamabad, it was a pets day where students were supposed to bring their pets to sort of, you know, walk them down the ramp and sort of, you know, socialize with each other. It's a fun activity, to be honest.
Tell me somebody bit someone.
No one bit someone. But one of the students there brought a lion.
Lion?
As a pet.
Really?
Yes, and it really, really sort of bothered me. I'll tell you why. Because then everyone gathered taking pictures, and the teachers of that institution did not have the common courtesy or the common knowledge to educate the students that this is wildlife. They're not supposed to be chained. They're not supposed to be living in your bedrooms. They're supposed to be having, they have the right to actually exist in a natural environment. Don't you think so?
Exactly. Shiza, thank you very much for raising awareness on that. And, you know, it has been an increasing trend over here in Pakistan where people are domesticating all of these exotic animals. And imagine that nobody has actually got any specific training, not that they even know how to kind of look after that. And, you know, for all of those people who might have these lion cubs or lions or cheetahs at their places, they're in continuous relation with the WWF because they are the ones who go inject whatever medicine they might require. This is something which we might have to still figure out, whether can we domesticate exotic pets or not. This is something, ladies and gentlemen, which we will be discussing today. But imagine that there are 8,400 species of flora and fauna which are endangered to an extent that the species might just vanish from this very world. And imagine not just that, in accordance to that, there are another 30,000 species of flora and fauna which are close to extinction, and we're not doing anything about it. And all of these, you know, because nobody's just born like that, you know, so everybody has a role to play within the ecosystem. And God forbid, if this ecosystem is going to be in danger because of these species getting extinct, our lives, ladies and gentlemen, will be in danger as well. And that's what people do not understand. We have a small video on the occasion where today we are actually observing World Wildlife Day. Please go ahead, take a look. And once you guys will come back, we will be in conversation with experts over here in the studios and some people over the Skype as well. Good morning. Let's do this today.
We roam, fly and swim. In the forests and mountain tops, in savannas and in the depths of the oceans. Together, we form part of the web of life that ensures the planet's ecosystems can strive. Wildlife Day, join us in raising awareness of the future of endangered species.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this time around, it's very important that we kind of talk about the very theme of the World Wildlife Day as well, which actually happens to be recovering key species for ecosystem restoration. That's something we spoke about as well. But without any further ado, let's start the conversation. We're very lucky that we've actually been joined with somebody who happens to be an environmentalist for WWF. And ladies and gentlemen, he is Mr. Mohammed Waseem. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Walaikum assalam. I am good. Thank you.
And thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you over here in the studios. We'll definitely get started with the conversation. We have another guest joining us over the Skype, and she happens to be an environmentalist herself. She is Miss Mariam Shabir. Hello, Mariam. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us. Wonderful to have you. And it looks very different, you know, because you usually used to come to our studios. But today you're somewhere out and you're joining us on Skype. So first things first, you know, when we talk about our ecosystem and when we say that there are 8,400 species which need our attention as soon as possible, and there are other 30,000 species of the flora and fauna, which God forbid, if we do not move towards restoration, our own lives will be in danger. What do we entail from that?
Well, as you explained in your introduction as well, that all species, you know, they contribute towards this ecosystem thing, which is, we are interdependent on, different species are interdependent on each other. And these species also involve humans as well. We take medicines, we take even fabrics for clothes, we take eating stuff from flora and fauna which are, endangered. And if these species which are listed, red list by IUCN, which has this data, if those species goes extinct, the ecosystem would be disturbed. That means that we will face serious issues. And you can see that in the latest Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report, which just came out 2 days before, that also states that, warmer temperatures are making species to go extinct in local environments, such as if you take examples of Australia, their warmer temperatures are making species, flora plus fauna, to go extinct. Then fires due to climate change and rising temperatures and global warming, they're also causing species to go extinct. And you can take example of Australian forests, which happened a few years back in 2019. And there, in Amazon, there are fires in Amazon forest as well. There were a lot of species went extinct and endangered in some lists as well. And similar is the case in many other parts of the world. So that report is also warning, and that will bring serious consequences to ecosystem and to us humans, and of course to the planet Earth as well.
Thank you very much for talking about that. And speaking on this occasion today, I'm going to share what I learned myself, and that was 2 years ago, that in Australia, since you mentioned about Australia, or I think it was another country, so I'm going to share two examples from Australia and from China. So in Australia, Shiza, there was this jungle where the wolves would actually take out a lot of animals. And so what they did was that since the wolves were killing a lot of animals, they took out the wolves. But imagine that the entire ecosystem of that very jungle was disturbed, and a lot of animals started to die. So that's how every animal is contributing. Now let's talk about China.
Yeah.
That while just because China, just like Pakistan, they're good in agriculture as well, and these days we get to see a lot of vegetables and fruits from China. Imagine, so there was this issue of pesticide, right?
Okay.
But what they did wrong was that there was a flock of birds which used to actually eat all of those pesticides. They took out all of the birds, and imagine that they couldn't really grow their own fields as well. So imagine that they had to bring in all of those birds from another country to make sure that the ecosystem kept on running.
Wow, and this is how important even the smallest unit of the ecosystem is. But Mariam, the theme happens to be recovering the key species. I have a little confusion, if you can maybe, sort of explain a little on that. Is recovery same as conservation? And if not, what does the theme mean?
Yeah, this theme means that, for ecosystem restoration, which is this decade, this 10 years is ecosystem restoration, be it World Environment Day or be it World Wildlife Day, or you name any theme related to climate change or environment, you would see in that, this is the decade of ecosystem restoration through plantation and everything. So talking about this particular theme, recovering these species, that means that we have to conserve them. We have to make their environment suitable for living. We have to avoid those sectors which are putting their lives at risk. That means that we have to provide them conducive environment, and we should not hunt them, and we should provide them such an environment in which they can produce more species, be it flora or fauna. And that also means providing them, specific environments. I would again relate that to temperatures as well, because this increasing temperatures and even this marine heat waves, if you have ever heard of that is also causing trouble for marine ecolife and ecosystem over there, flora and fauna both, because they also contribute to these food web and other kind of webs and ecosystems on which we are dependent on, we human and other species as well. So yes, that this theme means that we have to conserve them wherever those species are, as listed by the IUCN, and that means we have to provide them conducive environment for living and flourishing.
That's true, and we certainly want to build up on that as well. But Mariam, we want you to stay with us because we have Wasim Sab over here in the studios. I have a couple of questions for him. So sir, first things first, obviously we want to take this journey ahead, and we want to talk more about conserving and restoring, because that's what the need of the hour is. But first of all, how did an environmentalist end up in WWF?
with
I mean, that
wildlife.
was different for me to know that there's an environmentalist in WWF, even though that there's a requirement because of climate change and everything going on. But how did you end up in WWF?
Yeah, 20 years back when I started my career, just after finishing my graduation in the environmental planning and management, I was searching what I should find the passion and the profession that should be connected with my career in life. So I was more nature lover, and I love the forests. So during my early career, when I visited one of the Sudan Gali Kashmir forest area, and I spent 3 months over there for studying the medicinal plants and the birds of the area.
Okay.
Wow.
So at that time, I decided that I should stay within the forest and start my research work. That will be more better for my career. So after the Sudan Gali forests, I came to work for the leopards in the Pakistan. From 2005 onwards, I am working on the human wildlife conflict management in Pakistan.
Oh, interesting.
Similarly, the black bear, whenever it becomes issue for the communities, and the communities lose their the crops as well as the attacks on the human beings whenever they encounter. So right now I'm working as human wildlife conflict manager for the WWF as well as for the Pakistan.
And it's really interesting, to be honest, because this is a sort of a newer field for us to
Yeah,
learn
you're
about
the
as well.
frontline savior for us, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And which also makes you the very appropriate person to let us know the endangered species in Pakistan and what you particularly are doing to save them.
You took away my words.
Really? Sorry.
Yeah, it's very difficult for actually in a country where we have very limited number of wildlife species, like the common leopard as well as the black bear. I'm talking. The issue is that the communities, whenever they lose their life or the property in the form of the livestock or the crops, they come for retaliatory killing of these precious species. So in reaction, when they kill these wildlife species, sometimes they don't know about the consequences after the elimination of these species from those areas. So if it's a good chance to speak with the community.
Please make sure that you share your thoughts on that and tell them
because
why.
once we eliminate or we kill leopard from its territory, it's a territorial animal, it's a nocturnal and shy animal. If it comes out from its territory by killing the local communities, after 2 or 3 months a new leopard come to their places, and because he is newcomer to that area, and he start killing of the livestock, and at the daytime he is sighted everywhere. So because he is going to establish his territory for so that consequences becomes more increases after the killing of older or native leopard from that area. So similarly for the territorial animals, that's type of issues we feel that's in Pakistan as well as in other part of the world. Yes, this is very important. Retaliatory killing and human wildlife conflict management is very important for the carnivore species, because these are the large mammal species and they are top predator for the ecosystem. If we don't have the leopards, then wild boar population will be increased. The jackals becomes look like a lion, and they become start attacks on the human beings, because the population, if the population of such type of animals becomes increased, that could be more dangerous for living beings on the earth. So it's very important for us to keep a balance within the nature and give space and try to coexist with the large mammals and the carnivore species too.
Exactly, and thank you
Very
very much,
well
sir, for
said.
sharing that, because I believe that it's literally very important. And at this point of time, what I'm going to share is that, I was watching this video on YouTube where a group of Karachi boys set sail on the Arabian Sea as well, and they went to a place where they were welcomed by dolphins. And speaking about dolphins, I don't see anybody, God forbid, killing dolphins over here in Pakistan. Probably, I might not know about this news, but they are extinct. That's what I know. And talking about snow leopards, talking about pangolin, these are the species which are getting extinct. And I think that we'd certainly, for example, it's a good omen that we actually have a helpline where we can call fire brigade and everybody 911 and that's it. God forbid if there's a brown bear outside my place, who am I going to call? Rather than picking up my gun, shouting and gathering all of those other people, we are not, I think, trained to kind of, survive in such a similar situation. Because we do see people abroad, what they do is that they have certain helplines, people are going to come, they will help, probably
animal rescue units, right?
probably get that animal safely and then leave it wherever he or she needs to leave. But how do you think that we need to curb this menace? Because it's a problem over here in Pakistan.
Yeah, it's actually another thing is that most of the people and the community, they don't know about the wildlife department, because provincial departments are also present at district level and in all parts of the Pakistan. So it is very important that if some type of issue arise within the vicinity of your close by, so you need to call to the wildlife department offices.
Do we have any number for that?
Yeah, we have at the district level, we have different offices. So we need to know about their numbers actually. So that are public offices and everybody can go there and everybody can call them. So the responsible officers, he actually respond against such type of issues. So yes, we have in Pakistan, but unfortunately the awareness is very limited, and most of the peoples don't know about the existence of the wildlife departments within their areas. So this is very important that we should know. And the second thing is that the protected areas, most of the issues we feel that's like the human wildlife conflict or something like that, that come arise close to the protected areas, because the protected area is one of the area where the protection of the animals is more better. So it is very important for us that in every protected area there should be somebody is responsible. So in all the national parks, game reserves and the wildlife sanctuaries which we have in Pakistan, there are custodian departments exist.
Wow, wonderful.
And that is really great to hear, of course. But Shahzad, I feel like so you let us know how people don't have the basic knowledge of how to retaliate or how to react to an invasion, not an invasion, rather just coming across an animal as well.
Yeah.
It takes you by surprise, to be honest. Even if I come across, because I live in Islamabad, if I ever come across a what's that? What's that? When I'm talking about a bear or a leopard for that matter, we don't know. And Mariam, if you're online with us, I would like you to please answer this. What are some of the ways, or what is the way that you would campaign for all the people out there, for the layman like me, to learn how to deal with if you come across wildlife animals? Because right now we're in the phase of extinction that is irreversible, and it's really heartbreaking.
True.
I think there are different campaigns. If we say about this plantation campaign in Pakistan, particularly if I talk about that, everyone and every almost relevant institution has targeted school kids as well, even to plant trees. So if you want to build awareness, we have to start from the kids. And you were very rightly in the beginning of this segment that, teachers needs some awareness and capacity building workshops, and maybe our wildlife departments and different experts can go to different schools and organize workshops for teachers, that how they can build sense of responsibility among kids and young girls and boys, even in college and universities as well, who did not had a chance to build kind of synergy, or I would say kind of bond with wildlife animals and wildlife plants as well, because it's very important to build that connection in the beginning. And I have just, I'm joining from the sky because I've just recently moved to the US, and here what I'm seeing is that through cartoons and through books and even through different toys, they build a kind of bond with these wildlife species and wildlife flora and fauna. From the beginning, even if the kid is even 2 years old, and they have different kind of toys and different kind of animations and different kind of cartoons to build awareness among them and to build bond with them. And I think that is very important for the long term and for the long run, because the kid who is developing bond with such things, after 10 years or 15 years or even 20 years, when he would go back to Pakistan or look at, different wildlife species, in Margala Hills, even leopards, if my son would see that, he won't be scared. He would call simply wildlife department officials if something is outside our home in Islamabad. So I think it's very, very important to build such kind of campaigns and such kind of materials for kids to watch and to learn. That would be very meaningful, and I would vote for that, I guess.
And that's wonderful. We certainly need that. We need that kind of awareness. But, very quickly, one last question from you, and that is that since you happen to be an environmentalist, imagine that we haven't been, the entire world has not been able to do quite a lot, to kind of reverse the climate change. And we really need to be honest. So imagine that these 2 years of COVID, we have videos from different parts of the world where the animals were so free and out and were doing whatever they wanted to do. And, all of a sudden, the sky was clear, there was no population, and, the ozone started to kind of recover as well. How do you think that we need to take all of those stringent actions to make sure that, that the restoration starts to take place, that God forbid the ecosystem does not, become a harm for us to kind of live in it or exist in it?
Perhaps, God forbid, we would require another pandemic to give space to wildlife, animals, and of course this flora as well to flourish. But God forbid, we don't really want that, because as you mentioned that during pandemic, we humans have encroached places for wildlife, animals, and we have done deforestation and cut down trees to create that imbalance. But what we can do, and what IPCC report, which I was mentioning in the beginning, has suggested, is that we really need to take actions now. And taking action now means that we have to, put full stop to carbon emissions, because increasing temperatures is a great threat to all the species. And I think the larger economies and rich countries need to come forward, and also developing countries should learn from the mistakes of developed countries, that what kind of havoc these fossil fuels that create for everyone and for every species on this planet Earth. And in that way, we would be able to conserve and save species from, taking them out from the red list to, we would say less endangered list or safe species list. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to control wildfires and increasing temperatures and heat waves, which would contribute towards extension of the species.
Thank you very much, Mariam, for being with us. It was lovely to be in conversation with you, and thank you very much for giving us such detailed information on about what we really need to do to restore and conserve all of these species. Whenever you're back, please make sure that you take out time to be on the show as well. Thank you very much for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation. Sir, now coming towards you, I have a very important question. Okay, so we have kind of figured out, we have established that, how we really need to give it utmost attention, and it is a part of the SDGs as well when we talk about United Nations. But so one last thing which I wanted to ask, and that is that imagine that right at the beginning of the show, Shiza said that a lot of people do domesticate a lot of exotic animals as pets. So imagine that a lion which cannot survive in the Islamabad Zoo is surviving at somebody's house. I think that's one thing which we need to look at very positively, because people do take a lot of good care of them.
Okay.
They're reproducing, they're making sure that they're going to sell other cubs, and it's a business model. We're not going to go over there. Why do you think that these animals die within the zoos but not when people keep them at their houses?
It's very easy to reply you that it's just a capacity issue. Because in Pakistan we don't have, we have veterinary schools and the colleges and the universities, but unfortunately for wild animals, expertise is not developed so far. Okay. And this is the major reason behind the zoos. If we say that they are not successfully working within the country. So it's the Karachi Zoo, similarly the Islamabad Zoo. Yeah.
No.
Go on.
It's just our communication. You please go on.
Yeah. So yes, this is very important. That's now right now we need to think about the zoo management studies within the country.
True.
So it is very important subject, and if we want to keep and save these wildlife species, because the zoo animals from where they are coming actually. sometime the animals within the wild, if we found that it is not possible for him to survive, so then we bring that problematic animal to the zoo. So if it comes to the zoo, and if a zoo manager is a very good and well trained, he can yeah,
he can do
perform
much better.
excellently.
Well, you know what, I like the idea of a zoo so that we can all go to get educated, but not the idea of caging and, you know, containing an animal.
Yeah.
Maybe we can have like open
Wildlife
safari.
safari.
Yeah, absolutely. And why not? We can totally do that. Which also, you know, sort of makes me question where Mariam said, and it was a brilliant point, that we need to sensitize our kids because that is a very impressionable age.
And those are our future generations.
Definitely, and whatever you learn as a child will definitely stay with you for the rest of your life as well. What really bothers me here is definitely no sensitization as such, because people will tell you, "Isse dur hai, you know, there can be germs whatsoever," which is partly true, definitely. But then there's also videos of people coming in just for the sake of clout. They are torturing animals to get viewers on their, you know, videos. I cannot.
That's unfortunate. Please don't do that.
Don't do that, definitely. So towards the end, I want you to highlight how and if we can sensitize, maybe through the government, maybe through media, how can we do that?
Yeah, there could be so many other options which we have, other parts of the world they are using. If I go simply, that's nature interpretation, one of another subject that I would like to share with you. That's in couple of years ago, back in 2005, when I was within a neighbor country there, there actually the tiger was there, and the students group was there, and they were trying to interpret the nature and trying to make some artificial arrangement for that within the protected area. Nice. Just like an information center like that. So we need to bring those new concepts actually in our country. We don't feel that's the butterfly relationship to our ecosystem. Our kids don't know. True. Even our adults don't know.
Absolutely.
Similarly, our pangolins, our other different animal species which we have in the country, so these species we need to bring in our nature interpretation subject by the government agencies, and that could be one of a major area that's for the protected areas, for the wildlife management. And another weakness which I feel, that's the lack of the scientific management actually. Exactly. We even don't know about the exact number of the wildlife, different wildlife species within
in
our different protected areas.
Exactly.
So that's so research is most important.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
You're
sir.
right.
Thank you very much for sharing your insight on how we really need to protect and how we really need to sensitize. Thank you very much, Mariam. Thank you very much, Seem Saab, for being with us. It was wonderful to be in conversation. And towards the end, ladies and gentlemen, it's about time that we actually go out for a short break. And once you guys will come back, where we talk about how we really need to sensitize our future generations, I think we're going to talk about how we really need to promote them to be who they want to be.
Absolutely, let's do that. So stay tuned to find out what exactly the segment will be about. Good morning.
Don't forget to play your role.
watching PTV World.
Welcome back to World this morning, ladies and gentlemen. With me, I have the very well-spoken and the well-articulated. I'm Shiza Hashmi, and in this segment, we are going to be sharing some amazing talent with you.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, which is why, as I said, that we really need to promote our kids, make sure that we give them that confidence that they get to do whatever they want to do in life. Imagine we have a 12-year-old over here in the studios who's actually sung a song, and within the release, I think it has just been only 10 days that his song has hit 30,000 views on YouTube as well. We want to share that song with you all. First, go ahead, take a look, and once you guys will come back, we will be in conversation with Moose Morano and his mother, Miss Sarah. Let's go ahead. All right, so we do not have a video. We were just being informed. Well, that was on the contrary, but it's perfectly. All right, let's introduce, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by a proud parent who made sure that they're going to support their kid in whatever they want to do. We have with us Miss Sarah. Hello, Miss Sarah. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam. I'm fine, alhamdulillah.
Thank you very much for joining us. And alongside her, we're very lucky that we've been joined by a superstar in the making, and he is Mr. Moose Morano. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you, and I've heard your song. It's lovely. It's beautiful. And I was not able to get over your vocals as well. So how did you get into singing? And why do you think that you want to be a singer?
I actually got into singing when I was very young. I've been singing ever since I could remember. It's been my hobby of mine and a passion of mine. And I've gotten into it because my dad and my grandfather, they really inspired me because they're actually really into singing. And I remember when I was little, my mom and dad used to blast songs in the car, and I just used to sing along in the back, and my passion grew more from there.
And I hope it didn't have an impact on your ears, though.
Yes.
That's really nice. But who particularly, an artist, if I were to ask you right now, inspires you?
It would be an artist called Olivia Rodrigo. I just think that...
I just skip her songs. She's all about heartbreak, isn't it?
What do you think he sang about?
Oh, okay. Well, definitely. I mean, your vocals are definitely brilliant, and to have an inspiration is great as well. Before moving on, Shahzad, I really want to take this moment to actually ask him to please sing us a few verses, and then we'll continue the conversation. Can you do that?
Yes, sure.
Oh, please.
Again. At night, when the lights are out, all I can think about is how much I freaking love you, babe. And you have no freaking clue how my heart races when I see you, yeah, you. Oh, and I hope someday we could be together, lovers forever in every conceivable way, yeah. 'Cause you make my heartbeat go crazy, 'cause that little smile on your face could light up my whole day, my whole day, my whole day.
Wow!
Beautiful.
Wow, that was
Very
scintillating.
Nice.
Yeah, that was fabulous. And for a 12-year-old to sing like this, I think it's just phenomenal. It's fabulous as well. But imagine that this very song you were singing, you wrote it yourself, you composed it yourself, and your parents even helped you shoot the video, in which your parents are even visible in that particular video as well. So to do it all, how did you compose it all? Do you have everything at your place? Do you do everything yourself?
Well, I wrote the song in a very happy mood. I don't have a crush, but I just...
He's so cute. He goes like in a very happy mood. That's nice.
But I just like to go into an imaginative state and then imagine things and role play, and then I basically get inspired from there, and then I just write my feelings down. And before consulting someone, I just consult my notebook, write my feelings down, turn it into a song.
Wow, that's wonderful, yeah.
And that's such a cool process, to
Yeah,
be honest.
exactly.
And you're so young to be doing that process as well, mashallah. But Ms. Saira, how important do you think it is for any parent or guardian to be encouraging in your child's dreams?
I guess it's the main component of being a parent.
Yeah.
If you are not supportive to your kids and you want them what you want them to be, then it becomes a little harder on the kid. Nowadays, what I feel, I meet different parents and they are always telling, I want my son or my daughter to be a doctor or an engineer. And so let's come out of this box and think beyond it and to this new generation. This new generation is coming up with huge talents, which our generation don't have that.
About is how much I freaking love you, babe, and you have no freaking clue how my heart races when I see you, yeah, you, and I hope someday we could be together, lovers forever in every conceivable way. Yeah, 'cause you make my heartbeat go crazy, 'cause that little smile on your face could light up my